A year ago, my engagement on repurposed clips was sitting at a decent 7% click-through rate on shorts and other short-form posts. But now, that number is nudging past 11%, and the biggest secret is I finally stopped manually hunting for clips and making thumbnails from scratch. I switched to a simple 5-step process that completely drains my time commitment, while simultaneously making my short clips perform way better. I want to walk you through this exact system so you can steal the workflow and finally see similar results. You've probably heard big creators like Mr. Beast suggest you should spend big money on your thumbnails, with him famously dropping up to $10,000 on just one. He talks about thumbnails needing to be simple, colorful, and highly visual, which I totally agree with because those three concepts are absolutely core to success. But honestly, that advice is a little vague, isn't it? It's the classic duh moment. What actually matters is how you achieve that high quality fast and reliably, without hiring an entire studio team or burning through countless hours. So here is my reliable 5-step method for turning those long videos into extremely clickable shorts, complete with thumbnails that consistently attract eyes. And I'll show you how one particular tool quietly makes the entire thing about 10 times less painful to execute. For step 1, you absolutely must stop shooting static stills, and instead, you need to be shooting specifically for the final clip. Most people mistakenly think a thumbnail should be a perfect photograph, but that approach is entirely backwards in today's content landscape. Thumbnails should always be derived directly from the actual video content you intend to use for the short. If you are planning your thumbnail up front, record a very short 20 to 30-second pose clip with exaggerated expressions and gestures. You should be moving around, reacting emphatically, pointing dramatically, or even letting out a small scream if that fits your personal brand vibe. From just 20 seconds of this footage, you can easily pull dozens of high-potential thumbnail frames later on without any struggle. This technique is significantly easier than trying to line up 10 different perfect photos and constantly crossing your fingers hoping one will finally stick with the audience. Crucially, for content repurposing, this deliberate recording method also gives the AI better raw material to find the truly viral moment later. That's because the raw energy needed for virality is embedded in the action, not just in a forced, static smile you hold for a camera. Moving on to step 2, you need to let the artificial intelligence find the viral bits, so you stop manually scrubbing through hours of footage. The old school method required you to watch 60 minutes of raw footage, mark down timestamps, and then physically clip out only the parts you thought were good. The new school way is simply to upload the entire session and let a sophisticated editor do the heavy lifting for you automatically. This is where an intelligent feature like auto-editing viral clips becomes an absolute game changer in your entire workflow. The system scans your long video file. It detects moments of high energy, emotional spikes, genuine laugh breaks, and even mic drops. Then it spits out ready-to-post clips. These clips are often already framed perfectly for the specific requirements of each social platform, saving you another adjustment step. You should compare this to other tools where some just slice based on simple scene changes or rely on overly fixed templates, which frequently misses all the necessary nuance. Others might charge you a fee for every single clip they generate, or they demand you sit there and babysit every single edit from start to finish. This specific editor prioritizes true virality signals and immediately gives you a stack of great options that you can actually tweak in mere seconds. It truly feels like having a highly skilled assistant on your team who inherently understands what content is most likely to perform well online. For step 3, we focus on capturing those winning thumbnail frames extremely fast, which is easier than the old tricks in video editors. If you use Final Cut or Premiere, there is a known trick where you skim footage, pause on a good frame, and then manually save that specific image as a file. That manual method is slow, it's tedious, and it still leaves you with a massive pile of barely different images that all need testing later. Instead, after the AI generates your clips, I open just a handful of the highest potential selections and scrub through only 10 to 20 frames to pick the ones that truly pop. The key difference is that your starting pool is already intelligently curated by AI, which removes massive amounts of guesswork pressure. Because the good frames are easier to spot when the overall quality of the source material is already elevated. For step 4, you must maintain a thumbnail master template so you can crank out new designs in just minutes without being boring. I use a master file that locks in my consistent fonts, my specific color palette, and my standard layout structure for extreme speed. Canva is a fantastic platform for this, but if you manually start every thumbnail from scratch every single time, you are guaranteed to waste unnecessary time. What makes this integrated workflow nicer is how it plugs directly into that repurposing pipeline. Clip, then thumbnail frame, then template application. You can even save your favorite proven thumbnail combinations and reuse those presets when you start your next batch session. A truly good thumbnail shouldn't require hours of agonizing. Some of my best performers were slapped together in 5 minutes because the core composition was already solved. Finally, for step 5, you must get some form of outside feedback on your thumbnails before you commit to publishing them across the internet. This step is severely underrated, so if you have people around, show them the options for brutal, honest critique. My own family members are completely ruthless, and honestly, that completely unvarnished feedback is pure gold for improving click rates. If you don't have a person immediately available, use other tools. I often ask large language models like ChatGPT which thumbnail gets the most clicks. The AI will often point out subtle design flaws or compositional issues that I completely overlooked in my focus. Because this method gives you several clip and thumbnail options, you get quick feedback on a tight selection rather than dozens of random screenshots. If you are truly on the fence between two options, just publish the one you and one trusted person prefer, and let the data tell you the rest very soon. Let's summarize the entire practical workflow I use, putting these 5 steps into immediate action. First, you must record intentionally. Capture that 20 to 30 second posing clip at the end of your main recording session. Second, upload both the long file and the specific pose clip to the editor, and let the auto-editing viral clips feature do all the heavy lifting automatically. Next, select the top 3 potential clips from the AI output, scrub through for the best thumbnail frames, and drop those images into your master template. Then, run your 2 or 3 favorite thumbnails by one trusted friend, or quickly toss them into ChatGPT for a preference vote, and pick the winner. Pair that winning visual with the AI-generated clip, and then use the auto-schedule feature to line up the perfect publishing time across all your different social channels. Finally, use the content calendar management system to organize everything so you don't accidentally spam one platform while completely neglecting another one. So, why is this entire system ultimately better than hiring an expensive photographer or relying on single-purpose editing tools? Hiring a dedicated thumbnail photographer or paying for extremely fancy design work can certainly work, but it's incredibly expensive and absolutely not scalable for most creators. The Mr. Beast level of financial investment only makes sense for massive channels. But for the average creator, that commitment is simply major overkill. Other so-called all-in-one editors might auto-clip the video, but they completely lack crucial scheduling functionality, or vice versa. Some available tools are cheap, but they consistently spit out extremely bland content that still requires a ton of manual fixes before it's usable. This workflow hits that perfect sweet spot. It detects viral clips expertly, it auto-schedules the posting so you don't have to babysit the upload time, and the calendar keeps everything perfectly organized. Plus, because you can store all your custom thumbnail templates and preferred clip presets, your next batch production session becomes almost entirely autopilot. Now let's cover a few little hacks that really help level up the performance of this entire system when you use it. When you are intentionally posing for those thumbnail frames, always exaggerate your expressions by about 20% more than feels comfortable. Slightly bigger, clearer expressions convert significantly better when viewers are looking at your content on tiny phone screens. Use a consistent, bold color overlay. Perhaps a band of your brand color at 20% opacity to make your thumbnails feel cohesive across your entire feed. Remember not to overtext your visuals. A short, punchy phrase using only 2 to 4 words is generally the absolute maximum you should ever need. Ultimately, you need to let the actual video clip do the heavy lifting by making sure your thumbnail just hints at the content inside. If the AI found a genuine, unscripted moment of surprise or laughter, your thumbnail just needs to provide the initial intriguing spark for the viewer. This entire process of creation, publishing, and measurement creates a critical feedback loop where actual improvement can finally happen. You must run your top thumbnail options by at least one other human being for validation before you ever push the publish button. Then, once the content is live, the analytics section will clearly show you which visual strategy truly worked so you can learn and adapt. All right. That is the complete 5-step rundown for transforming your short-form content workflow starting today. I'm genuinely curious. Which single tip from this process did you find the most immediately helpful for your own channel? Do you already have a streamlined repurposing system in place? Or are you still stuck in that manual clipping trap? Please drop your own favorite workflow hacks down in the comments below, because seeing what others do has actually changed the way I approach my own thumbnails. If this breakdown helped you visualize a better system, please hit that thumbs up button right now to let me know. And subscribe if you want more behind-the-scenes workflows focused on streamlining editing and optimizing overall content operations. I put these deep dive workflow guides together every other week. So if you are into making this content grind less painful, make sure you hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again with the next workflow guide in 2 weeks' time.